Hello, I'm at this stall with Lorenzo. Vehicle lead? Yes,
For the new Himalayan.
for the new Himalayan. Other than the electronics and the engine, the rest of the work is under his guidance and supervision. So let's hear from him what all has been done, why it has been done, how it has been done to get it to where it is today. Lorenzo?
Good evening. So, let's say from the very first start of the project, there were two main factors that we wanted to consider for this new Himalayan. One was roads and the other one was riders. And why do I say that? Roads is because we wanted to ensure that this bike was built and designed for all sorts of roads. And same for the riders. Pretty much the same thing transports sideways to the riders. This bike is also built for any kind of riders, big, small, experienced, unexperienced. So starting from the roads, the first element that played a role in it was, let's say, a mixture of structure and packaging. So what we did in terms of structure, we have a fabrication frame, fabricated swing arm, both of them made out of steel. From the previous Himalayan, we have started using better materials as well, so that we could increase the payload, because that is what is important for the customer. Obviously, I could get you bored speaking about strength and stiffness things, but what's important is what the benefit is for the customer. And as you can see in there, we have increased the payload for the customer up to 198 kilograms, which is a big step up from the previous model. Two other advantages were gained by working on a different structure and a different packaging. The first one is the seat height. I will speak in more details later on about the seat height. However, you can maybe see in this area already that the structure is very slim in this area, both at the top and the bottom as well. The bottom was very important, in particular for off-road conditions, because we wanted to increase the ground clearance. We managed to gain about 15-20 millimeters from the previous one. How did we achieve this? This was more than with the structure, it was with the different orientation of the rear shock, which is now laid down. It's almost, I don't want to say horizontal, but the previous one was very vertical, and it was the main limiting factor. Now, that was the first aspect that we covered in terms of building and designing this bike for all sorts of roads. The second one was suspensions. Suspensions are obviously, I guess you know, very important because they are the contact point in between the rider and the road. So what we have done, we now have on this model upside down forks, which are a big step up from the previous model. Stroke is unchanged, still 200 millimeters. The forks, as you can see in this picture, they are separate function forks. So on the left hand side of the motorcycle, right hand side of the screen, we have the stiffness control. On the right hand side, we have the damping control. And then that was for the front. At the rear, we still have a monoshock with a linkage system, but we have, first of all, a different technology, and second, as I mentioned earlier on, different layout. We have also, in particular, increased the rear wheel travel from 180 to 200 millimeters. This was done in particular to give us, let's say, a good compromise, a good balance in between off-road performance, but also comfort on when the rider is gonna just be touring on the road, because this bike is not just a very capable off-road machine, but it's also very comfortable for long-term traveling. Then moving on to the next couple of components or systems. First of all, I would like to speak about the braking system. Braking system is all new. We have new and bigger front disc, same for the rear disc, which is now bigger. What did we achieve with this is extra braking power, which is something we wanted to improve from the previous model, and we managed to achieve it. And then in terms of technology, ABS system. With this vehicle, pretty much you will have two ABS settings. One is the road version, the other one is the off-road version. The road version obviously is functions on both front and rear wheel. The off-road tuning doesn't only disengage the connection between the ABS system and the rear wheel, but also enables a completely different tuning at the front. So again, within the vehicle you have two ABS, in fact. Then the next component is the fuel tank. Fuel tank is because we wanted to ensure a stress-free riding experience for the customers. How did we achieve this? Let's say simply, it wasn't easy, but simply by increasing the size of the tank. The tank has now got 17 liters of fuel in it, which can give over 450 kilometers of range. And the reason why I call it stress-free riding experience is because with such a big range, you can avoid customers thinking or having to plan excessively for stops at petrol stations. They can just literally just jump on the bike and go and forget that they need to refuel. Now, moving away from the question what kind of roads we have designed this bike for into what kind of riders we have designed this bike for. Like I said at the very start, this bike has been designed for everybody, tall, short, experienced, non-experienced people. Now, starting with the ergonomics, what you can see in here, in the lower picture, is what we call ergonomic triangle, which represents the contact points between the rider and the vehicle. Full controls, seat, and handlebar. Now, starting from the seat, the reason why I say that even short riders will be able to ride this bike is because the bike comes with two options for the seat. There is a low seat version where the seat height is only 805 millimeters, and then there is also a nominal seat which is 825 millimeters in height. Both of them are adjustable, and they are adjustable with, let's say, plus 20 millimeters. The adjustment is very simple. It consists only in pulling these two bars higher up, both front and rear. As you can see, it can be done very, very easily by anybody, and this will adjust the seat. What I've done, I've actually adjusted it down by 20 millimeters. So in total, the range that we have for seat adjustment goes from 805 to 845 millimeters. Moving on to other aspects of the ergonomics, now I'm going to be speaking about two areas that are going to be particularly important for off-road usage. Number one is the handlebar. So the handlebar has been raised and moved slightly forward. This has been done in particular because when you ride off-road, you tend to stand up on the bike and you don't want the handlebar to be too close or too low, because this will give you feelings of not being in control of the bike. So we've done this, and not only we have done this to improve the comfort and the feeling of being in control of the bike when off-road, but we have not sacrificed the comfort when touring on a road. And then the last aspect, which was actually probably the most difficult to achieve, was the width of the bike in this area. You can possibly see that the rear end of the tank, the front end of the seat, the width of the frame, they are all particularly narrow. And again, this has been done for the same reason. When you are riding off-road, you stand up and you don't want your legs to be spread apart. Now, moving away from ergonomics and thinking more about performance and handling, and again, I would like to mention again that this bike is for everybody. So what have we done? So in terms of handling, we have increased the straight line and high speed corners stability when riding on the road. Vice versa, when riding off-road, we have increased the precision, the feel of, let's say, slow speed balance when there are technical sections off-road. And I would like to say that this bike is very forgiving, is very predictable, so again, it's for everybody. In terms of testing, how did we achieve all of this? What we do is we test, of course, in UK and India, because they are the two main locations where Royal Enfield has got his development centers. In India, we have also tested high altitude testing. This is not for chassis, it's mainly for the engine. And then the picture that you can see on the top in the screen is a snapshot of the IDIADA facility in Spain, where we also have a small development center, mainly a testing center, I would say, and we have done a lot of geometry and suspension and brake system work in there. Now, a couple of more parts that I would like to mention are, first of all, for the first time, Royal Enfield is proposing tubeless wheels. You can see them here. They are immediately available for the export market, and for the Indian market, it will follow shortly afterwards. And then lighting system. The lighting system is LED completely. It's not the first time the Royal Enfield has got LEDs, because we already have it on the Super Meteor, for example. However, we have LEDs everywhere. We have LEDs, for example, on the indicator. And in particular, in the rear end, you may notice that there is no rear light. The reason why there is no rear light is because the rear light is actually integrated in the rear indicator. And this can give us a nice line, very smooth, very small as well. Now, for who likes numbers, let's say ground clearance, I mentioned earlier on 230 millimeters. Seat height, this is a good summary. So low seat can go from 805 millimeter minimum, and then can be adjusted up by 20. And the same is valid for the standard seat, starting from 825 millimeters all the way up to 845 millimeters. Now, a few more numbers. These are, basic numbers for the vehicle. Something I would like to speak about is vehicle mass. So this bike is in running order, so with fuel, oil and everything else, is 3 kilograms lighter than the previous model. It may not seem a lot, however, I would like to drag your attention to the fact that there is a lot more on this bike than there wasn't on the original Himalayan. Thinking about brake discs, both of them bigger and so heavier, upside down forks, heavier, fuel tank bigger and heavier, but not only, it also carries more fuel as well. So everything went in the direction of increasing the vehicle mass. We managed not only to avoid increasing it, but to cut a few kilos down. And then the last component that I've not probably spoken enough about are the tires. The tires are completely new. They've been developed together with SEAT, completely from scratch, entirely for this model. They are dual purpose tires, so they are suitable for both usage road and off-road. And whether you have tubeless wheels or tubed wheels, they don't change. So even for who has got tubed wheels, the tires are tubeless as well.
Yeah, Lorenzo, I have a question or two. Now, I see this with the center stand. Is that part of a standard? The vehicle, it comes with the main stand?
The bike will come with the main stand.
So it's the weight measurement is including
the weight measurement is an homologated weight, so we are not really removed any components, and it includes center stand, side guard and everything else.
Okay, nice. The wheels, do the tubeless wheels weigh any different from the tube type? Is there any significant change, or does not matter?
So the weight is actually different. The front is about 400 grams heavier, and the rear is about 300 grams heavier. It may sound strange, let's say, to the average customer, the tubeless wheels are heavier, because obviously on the tubed wheels you have a tube inside. In here you don't have it. However, the reason why they're heavier is because there are two relatively big aluminum flanges going all the way around, and the aluminum is obviously a lot heavier than the rubber that is used to make the tube. I have to say that for the average customer, you will not be able to notice the difference, 300 grams on a wheel. Although we are speaking about unsprung masses, you're not going to be able to notice the difference.
Yeah, yes, thank you. That was my important question, whether an average rider like me will feel the difference or not.
Absolutely not.
It's an amazing job. Thank you so much. This is something we have been waiting for a long time. There is so much excitement. Thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you, Aaron.
Great job. Bye-bye. Take care.